Hey gang, I love astrology. It is fascinating. It's science, it's mythology, it's all sorts of coolness just kind of lumped into one thing. Um, and like a lot of mythology, you can't always take it at face value, but if you are an astrology fan and you've been tracking, Mars retrograde, the normal kind of craziness that goes with that, you'll also note that there are 5 other planets in retrograde, which is pretty unusual. So it's kind of everything lumped together, essentially. And as I was reading through all the folks that I enjoy and follow and their kind of descriptions about what's happening and how the energy is flowing, I realized none of it was good. None of it. Like, very much like the Tower card in tarot. There's nothing good about the tarot card. Nothing good about the tower. It literally, on the card, is a picture of a broken, falling apart tower on fire with people leaping out of the tower to their deaths. It's a difficult card, right? And normally in astrology, the people that I follow will always have some sort of silver lining. This is an opportunity to learn about yourself. This is an opportunity to have growth in this house or this prospect sort of thing. Look forward to what comes after it sort of thing. None of that. Nothing. So from my perspective, the silver lining is kind of a heads up, right? That's always appreciated too. So strap on your battle armor. Things are supposed to be pretty rough. And I always joke, it's like reading your horoscope, right? It's not always for you. Sometimes it's just a good laugh. Sometimes it's a good perspective. And you could say, that's a coincidence kind of thing. But particularly this week, even with the full moon yesterday, and Mercury and Mars and Venus and like all these other big planets just going berserk, I had some things happen to me that were unexpected. So normally when I read these things, I kind of look for goals for myself. So for instance, Mercury is in retrograde. I always try to back up my phones and my technology before it hits, because I'm terrible with technology anyway because of the energy stuff. So I'm always very cautious when it hits. So I did that. I always upload my photos to Shutterfly because I love them. Not a sponsor, but I still love them. And I just backed up everything basically. And I was like, okay, check mark for me. It happens every once in a while, and it's always good to back up your stuff. So hey, why not? The Mars thing, they were talking about basically going to war, right? You're going to have to battle for this, battle for that. But because it's Mars and Venus, so male and female, it had a lot to do with relationships. Not currently in a relationship, so I was like, okay, this is an opportunity to work on myself. And it really spoke to the dark side of love, like jealousy, mistrust, stuff like that. And I was like, well, I am a jealous person. I am. I don't really have anything to be jealous of right now. I'm really happy with where I'm at. And so, okay, I'll see what happens. And I was like, not much going on. Kind of looking around, waiting for something to like fall on my head at this point. And the more I kept reading, I was like, I feel like I'm missing something, I don't know what I'm missing. I'm missing something. And ironically, my ex texted me, and I was very confused because the chain of the text basically went, I wish you were happy. And I was like, I am happy. Not bragging, but I am, and he was like, well, if you had a boyfriend, you'd be happy. I was like, well, I am happy. I don't need another person to make me happy. And I was like, what is going on? One of those very talking heads moments where you're like, is this my beautiful wife? Is this my beautiful car? What is going on? And he was like, well, I'm happy with my girlfriend. And I was like, there we go. And I realized I kind of sat with myself for that moment, because I had expected to be angry, jealous, resentful, you know, things that would be natural for something like that happening. And I realized, I was like, I'm kind of pissed off. He's rubbing it in my face. I know realistically it's probably not going to last because he hasn't worked on himself at all and he's some issues. Am I jealous? No, I'm not jealous. I left for a lot of really good reasons that haven't changed. I have no reason to be jealous. And so I was kind of pissed off, angry about the way that he had delivered it, because it doesn't really matter to me. And as long as she's not around the kids, that doesn't have any change in our relationship at all. So I was like, all right, I'm glad you're happy. Whatever. You know, everyone was like, you really should have come up with a better comeback for that. I was like, I don't need a boyfriend to be happy. But I am glad that I didn't respond in a way that was bitchy, I guess. I'm kind of proud of myself for that. Not only because I was tired at that point. I'd taken 2 martial arts classes and whatever. But I realized I don't care. I don't. And I was like, all right, well, there's my thing. Great. I'm done. I've learned my lesson. I'm proud of myself. I'm really proud of myself for being, I don't know, okay with that, you know, whatever. I knew it was happening anyway. He'd been cheating, so I wasn't really surprised, you know, whatever. So then yesterday, out of nowhere, yesterday was a full moon, so I was expecting craziness, and the kids had been crazy, so I assumed that was, you know, our version of the craziness. And again, out of nowhere, I get a text, and it was him. And he was like, where were you at 7:15 a.m.? And I was looking around the house like, I was here, feeding the kids. Where would I be at 7:15? I actually thought for a second. It threw me off. Where would I be at 7:15 a.m.? Feeding the kids, walking the dogs, doing breakfast. That's what we do. Get ready for school. I was like, I'm feeding the kids. I told her that's exactly what I told him. Again, I really need to come up with better retorts. But it's like, I saw your Jeep. It's like, well, unless it was parked outside the house, that would be pretty difficult. And he's like, no, it was you. It was your Jeep. I was like, well, I hate to tell you, there are a lot of other people that own silver Jeeps. There are, you know? It's like, I'm pretty sure it was you. I'm like, I don't care. Actually, you could probably go on my Facebook because every morning I typically post a picture of the kids having breakfast. So if you really want to know where I am, check Facebook. I was like, all right, this is a little crazy, but whatever. I was like, okay, well, have a good day. Goodbye. It was followed up with, yeah, my coworker saw you yesterday in Target. And I was like, okay, that's a little creepy. That's a little creepy. I'm like, all right, well, yeah, yesterday I was at Target. I had to get our kids love Annie's organic bunny gummies. Again, not a sponsor, but they love it. And because it's got less sugar and more natural stuff, that's like their really, really special treat. And Target is the only place that sells the bulk pack of 12 instead of like 5. It's ridiculously expensive, but that's their special thing. Because Dean uses them as treats for like his autism special stuff at pre-K, I buy a lot of them. So yeah, I was at Target picking up diapers and gummy snacks. And I was thinking, I didn't see anybody. Nobody said hi to me. I was like, okay, and? He was like, yeah, he said he saw my crazy ex with the crazy hair. And I'm like, I really have no idea who you're talking about. But thanks for being part of my fan club. Like, yes, finally, a good retort. Whatever, dude, whatever. He's like, you know who it was. That guy that you used to like. And I'm like, could you clue, hint? And he gave me a name, and I was like, I literally haven't spoken to him for 7 years. I don't even think we ever hung out. I never dated him, never touched him. He took me and a few friends spelunking once. I probably shook his hand for getting me out alive. That's pretty much the only contact I've had with him. And that literally had to be like 9 years ago. And I was like, it's great. He's married. I'm pretty sure he has 2 kids, or one with one on the way. I can't remember because I don't care. It's like, all right, that's great. Appreciate it. Make sure you get everyone jackets. You know, my awesome hair on it. And that's when I was like, I stopped after that conversation and I was like, aha. It's not me, it's him, which is fine. I realize that, man, everyone deals with different parts of their life at different paces, right? I was able to deal with the breaking up of our relationship because it had broken up a long time ago. So I just processed through the grief and loss of our marriage and the perfect life that I had plans for our kids very quickly because it wasn't a reality and hadn't been a reality to me for a really long time. I think he's still processing through stuff, and that's fine. I respect that. It's hilarious. It's sad. It's a lot of things, but you know, it made me think of way long ago where I had felt the same way in relationships. So I'm not angry, resentful, or anything like that. I certainly, you know, probably had those reactions forever ago in relationships. But now I just don't have the energy. I don't care. It's not a big deal. It's a little stalkerish, a little. But legitimately, my life is not that exciting that I drive a bajillion different places. I have about an adventure a month. But it's planned because, you know, I only have an adventure when the kids are away. So, surprise! Not a surprise! But had I not read all the astrology reports, I literally would have been like, why is my ex stalking me? I have no idea what's going on in my life right now. My head is exploding. Because I had the heads up, I felt a lot more sane and rational. That is why I keep up with astrology. I really wish that I was better with astrology, but I have a terrible memory. And I can't remember. I literally could probably not list you all 9 planets in our solar system, which is very sad. Well, I probably could, but in the wrong order. Yeah, I probably could, but in the wrong order. But it's interesting because astrology is so changing and dynamic for each person because, you know, you go with your birth chart. So because Mars is retrograde, it might affect your 9th house or your 12th house or your 2nd house. So it really is, you can absolutely personalize it. But even if you're just looking at it as a general picture, it's nice to have a heads up. Very nice, especially for your sanity. So if you are interested in astrology, you know, there are lots of people to follow online. I always recommend somebody with training, somebody who you just kind of can vibe with. Your energy kind of is, yeah, I like this person. I like the positive spin they put on this, or I like the realistic spin they put on it. Some people are very uncompromising, and that's perfectly fine if that clicks with you. I prefer people that put on the positive spin. Although I certainly follow a bunch of different people, so if I wanted that harsh reality, I could follow that link too. It's important to learn new things, to keep learning new things throughout your lifetime, and I hope that I have the opportunity sooner or later to kind of bulk up on my astrology learnings. And I think that this whole alignment, retrograde, backwards, forwards thing with all the planets kind of hit home for that with me, because I really enjoy, you know, everyone complains about Mercury retrograde. Well, it doesn't affect some people like it does others, and that's fine. For me, full moons always hit hard. Always. I don't know why. It just does. My energy like drops. And that's how it is for some people. For other people, it might be one planet or another. And it's a cool way to figure it out is if you follow the astrology stuff. That's a good way to learn more about yourself, more about what's going on in the world around you. So, thanks for listening to my crazy wild tale. It's always interesting to get feedback. If you have any favorite astrologers, please leave links down below. Subscribe, comment, like, share, all that good jazz. I love you. I'll talk to you later. Bye.